mdblends.tk.
Hi, I'm Blake.
And I'm Greg. And a part of the semester was in Sports and Society was to read a book called Hoop Dreams. The book is a very, very personal book. It's very, warm-hearting and all. Involves two main characters, Arthur Agee and William Gates. Both two very, very talented basketball players in rural cities, and just going through a really hard time. Both guys grew up with financial issues, racism in schools. They both went to a predominantly white school at first. Peer pressure with one guy had a baby. Then they both grew up in a, like I said, inner city in a project-like environment with drugs around. Go ahead.
For nearly 5 years, Arthur Agee and William Gates' remarkable lives were chronicled by a team of filmmakers. Roughly 250 hours of film were devoted to their journeys on the playgrounds to high school competition to college recruitment. Many of these two players were both very good athletes that were playing on basketball courts in the projects and were recruited by one excellent coach. He later then talked to the family and tried to force the parents to let their kids go to college, and the parents didn't agree with it at first because they had financial problems, but the coach explained to them that they'd be willing to give scholarships to help the kids go because they think they have talent, and they don't recruit anyone that doesn't have talent.
Another part of the Sports and Society course was to read an own individual book. I unfortunately don't have my book here with me, but it's called The Contender by Robert Lipsyte. The main character is Al Brooks. He's a lost teen in a rough city, Harlem, New York. He works at a local grocery store for a different ethnic group. I'm not sure, and he's constantly picked on by the neighborhood bullies. And his best friend is, seeking further than a drug addiction. Alfred Brooks, he's not too bright. He's just quiet and minds his own. He lives at home with his Aunt Pearl. His family's very close with him, but he chooses not to share his personal feelings with them. He's a very individual guy. Alfred, since he got picked on so much in school, he just began to, he said, this is enough. He went to a local gym called Donatelli's Gym, and he told them, I get picked on, I get harassed, I get abused, and I want to learn how to box and to learn how to defend myself. And there they taught him several things: protecting yourself, better self-esteem, just being better as an individual. Alfred then continues his boxing career, and he begins doing local, boxing matches, and receives some money for it. And he purposely excelled through the boxing career and just became really bright with it.
My book I read was Pre by Tom Jordan. Pre was known as America's greatest running legend. Pre had set over 24 high school records in races from 2,000 meters to 10,000 meter races. He died at the age of 24, but he was known very well due to his talent that he had for running. Pre came from a very wealthy family, and he started running because it was something he could do to keep his mind off of problems that he had at school or whatever. Throughout his high school career, he kept setting records in the state and at high school, and many college coaches were looking to recruit him. Okay. All right, and then he went pro as a runner for cross country and track, and he ran for the U.S. Olympic team. He ran against many other great athletes, and many of them were African Americans. Throughout the racing, he was looked at differently because he was white, but he overcame that, and he was known due to his skill for running.
And to wrap it up, again, I'm Greg, and this is Blake, and we just gave our overview of the Sports and Society semester, and we're going to pass the torches to our partners, Katie and Austin. Hi, I'm Prince Fielder, batter for the Milwaukee Brewers. I won the home run derby and have very great accomplishments in my MLB career. A lot of people ask me, Prince, how are you so successful with sports? And, what keeps pushing you to get this far? I just give them one reason. One, mixed protein. It recovers you after a hard day of practice, after, game day and everything. It energizes you with the right minerals and proteins you need, and it gives you the proper mindset to go out there and win another game. Again, I'm Prince Fielder, batter for the Milwaukee Brewers, and I highly encourage you to drink one mixed protein.
Hi, I'm Austin.
And I'm Katie.
And we're here to talk about what we learned in Sports and Society.
All right. Well, we read Hoop Dreams, and what Hoop Dreams is about is Arthur and William and what they do, and and basically they face a lot of obstacles like underage pregnancy, and William's girlfriend gets pregnant, and he has to deal with that. And there's a time when he almost gets kicked off the team, and that's a lot of pressure to put on a young kid when he's just a kid himself, and he has to raise a kid, and that can be kind of a lot of pressure. And so, yeah.
Just like Greg, Katie, and Blake noted, in the book, they overcame financial barriers. Their families were from a poor neighborhood, and due to their basketball skill, they went to a high-class school called St. Joseph's. There they faced barriers such as racism and struggled to keep up with their payments because their family was a low-class family.
Another thing we had to do in Sports Society is read a book, and one of the books I read is A Few Seconds to Panic, and basically it's about Stefan Fatsis, which is also the author. He's a sports journalist, and he immerses himself in the NFL culture, and he becomes an NFL athlete pretty much, and that's what's it about. Okay. And yeah.
I read a book called The Last Chance for First by Tom Hazuka. It was about a teenage boy in high school who is a soccer player. He faces a lot of scrutiny from his peers and his parents because he plays soccer, and his brother was a star football player in high school. He faces many problems throughout the book. He is heavily scrutinized for his girlfriend, who he has a lot of feelings for, and he's spending a lot of time with her instead of focusing on his dream of becoming getting a soccer scholarship to college. Overall, he overcomes these problems and is able to obtain a soccer scholarship and achieved his goal.
And now we'll be talking about the movie Cool Runnings with me, Austin, Blake, and Greg.
We'll take a short commercial and we'll be right back.